You've been waiting 10 years to take on the world, face hardships, become one of the brothers, to fall in love, and to form your own boy band. In the end, this is what you get.
Were you just trying to impress us? Hell no.
Was it all worth it?
Well, hello everyone. I felt like switching it up today and do a review of Final Fantasy XV. And Final Fantasy is a game created by Square Enix, a company known for their classics such as All-Star Pro Wrestling 3 and Kingdom Hearts Coded.
Pete! Maleficent!
Boo! Dark side. Not just dark side, digital dark side, yeah. Digital dark side. And after years of waiting, we are finally graced with the only good Final Fantasy game since 10. Yet according to Conan, he doesn't seem to like it, so I guess this one must be pretty bad too.
I don't know what we achieved. I don't know what we were trying to achieve. I have no sense of satisfaction.
But for real, let's get into the actual review. Let's see what is good about the game first, and to start off, it's basically an open world feeling at The Witcher 3, except a lot more loading screens. The monsters and atmosphere of Xenoblade, except less monsters, and the more grounded combat version of Kingdom Hearts 2. Take that, turn-based strategy Final Fantasy games, even though there's a version of the game you can sort of do turn-based in the game. But the combat is honestly pretty damn good, and part of the game that had me coming back, you get to use magic in a different way, where you can't just spam it, and you need to pay attention to your surroundings, or this might happen. And as long as you're not hurting them, the sidekicks are actually useful, and the fighting system is unique enough to not feel like you're just a button mashing. Yet, it's not perfect. The camera is inconsistent at best. Not as bad as, say, Kingdom Hearts 1's camera, but still, it could be better. The game is almost too easy. I never technically died. If you have Phoenix Downs, then you can just get yourself up, and the only time I ever got to that point was in late game when I was 7 levels under the boss and truthfully never needed to know the weaknesses to the enemies to beat them. The lock-on system is also kind of strange because unless I miss something, you lock on by holding R1, and if you let go, you lose the target, and if you hold it down again, it might change enemies, which could get annoying. And there's no continuous lock-on system from what I can tell. Past that, the game's fun to play, which is very important for a video game. Next, the open world is fun. You can start your own fishing simulator, photo simulator, cooking simulator, and survival simulator. I don't know what Gladius does other than pick up items. I guess that's a skill. I guess that's surviving. Xenoblade Simulator, but with better graphics and faster combat. Car driving simulator, and trying to get with your best friend's sister simulator.
You know, Noct, this almost feels like a date.
If it were, your brother would kick my ass.
Oh, we better keep it quiet then.
Oh, yeah!
Beyond that, when you're taking part in all these activities and hunting down behemoths to get meat-free ramen, you get to listen to the top-tier, god-tier music appearances of Yoko Shimura with angelic choruses and her country-style music, and you will feel either like you're in either the most epic fantasy setting in the history of gaming, or you're about to go get with a farmer's daughter. And that is all you really need. And finally, the boy band you never asked for, but the only characters you will care for in this game.
Lincoln Farce.
Oh boy, I bet you haven't heard a boy band joke in a while. Shit, I already added one in this video. Well, let's keep going. These characters are the only characters you need. The bro trip for the century. You have Ignis, my boy Ignis, the brainy one that'll need more than glasses to see his future. Prompto, the maybe bisexual one who's comic relief and takes god-awful photographs, but so bad you can create your own memes with him. Then Gladius, the gladiator. I don't have anything else to say. He's kind of an angry, muscular man. And another repeated joke that you see everywhere. Noctis, as Sasuke. And they, in the end, will be the only thing you care about. And let's move on. For this new section, a neutral section. which I will probably give for almost every video game. I will have this section where I put things that aren't inherently bad, but not inherently good either. And for this game, I have story, one that has potential, a lot of potential, but falls flat in many areas. Not every area, but in many areas, relying on the movie to give you a backstory on a lot of the game, and largely your home and your dad, because the game kind of leaves your dad in the city, and many characters just feel flat and lack of connections to them, and the story has some weird pacing and cuts along the way too, which it also kind of changes from open world storytelling to a streamlined literal railroading in the second half. It felt like they made a linear game at the beginning and they kicked TetraNinja out and said we need to make something that will grab people, and they just went back and changed the first 10 chapters into open world and kept the final 5 chapters. That's my guess. I don't know if it's true. That's my guess though. Which the second half isn't inherently bad, but the open world added a lot more depth to the game, and that gets taken away, even though you can go back to it, but again, it doesn't really connect to the story as well, and But as a whole, it's an enjoyable story with a great emotional ending, yet falls flat in some aspects. Next comes along the quest. We have quests which are honestly nothing to surprise. Many quests consist of gathering things.
Nice work, Noct!
You got all those arms at your
You're
disposal.
a nice guy!
Use them.
Checking on things.
This one's seen better days.
Well, all in a day's work.
Or killing things. Which are usually the more exciting of the three, especially if you're fighting giant monsters, and the dungeons are decently well made too. And honestly, overall the quests are a little more in depth than Xenoblade, but less so than The Witcher 3. I do have to say though, in the latter half you come upon the most monotonous and thrilling for the first 10 minutes mission ever that lasts around 40 minutes and will have you walking around in circles and losing your mind. But it's fine. But in the end game, I haven't really played it, but I did hear that most of the best quests and dungeons are there, so there's a reason to get through the whole game if you aren't feeling it right now. Now, a big thing. Performance. I played on the PS4 because I'm not paying for a PS4 Pro when I have one already. I'm not made of money. But the game, for the most part, runs at 30 FPS regularly and in combat. But dips and towns to about 20 or so FPS. But man, if you needed a heater noise machine for Christmas, look no further than turning on your PlayStation, booting up Final Fantasy 15, and sitting in a city. You can really hear that baby purr. Oh, one big thing. These load times suck. Well, depending on where you're going. You can range from 1 to 5 minutes of loading, and it makes you question whether you should just drive to where you're going and look at the scenery. That honestly will get bored after about 15 hours of playing, or just stare at a load screen, because the traversal around the world can be annoying of this, and honestly, actually hurts momentum of different scenes, because sometimes there's something epic that happens, and then loading screen, 2 minutes, and then you get into the action again. It kind of cuts off the momentum the story has there, but beyond that, thankfully there are chocobos. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the car is also railroad. You can drive, but there is no point. You go along a road and you can turn every once in a while. So I'm letting this drive everywhere and listen to Final Fantasy soundtracks, which is pretty damn cool that's in the game. But I do like the pimping out my car simulator too. But finally, my one big con and problem with this game. Side characters. Well, I don't hate the side characters, or all of them at least. They all are kind of pointless, other than the main villain. They all are either forced fan service, rushed villains that have no real point in the story other than resistance or something to fight, rushed people that might or might not be villains, non-existent characters that appear once and then you're supposed to feel bad when something happens to them, and then the most anticlimactic character in the game. That's the problem with making part of your story be told through a side movie. While you can still enjoy the game without it, it can hurt development to the story and the cast if you haven't seen the movies. So to end, even with an inconsistently told and confusing at times story, weak side characters, and a few other kinks, it has an enjoyable boy band cast, a beautiful open world, emotional moments, epic battles, fluid combat, which make this game that newcomers can enjoy. Yet I think that it's a game that people used to turn-based Final Fantasy games and might be hesitant on. The game does have a mode similar to turn-based, but I didn't try it out, so I can't really tell you how it works. Nonetheless, it's a great game that if you love open-world games with real-time combat, you will surely enjoy. Nonetheless, thanks for watching my first video game review on the channel. I will be most likely doing more of these, and I'll probably have an update video coming out soon. Maybe I've already had it out, I don't know. Explaining what I'm going to do with this channel, because I am changing it up some. But that is it. My name is the Arcane Keyblade, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.